Very good morning to everyone. So in our last class, I think we have covered up to the nth order reactions, all integrated rate equations, zero order, first order, second order, and nth order corresponding half life. So that part is completed, right? And today we will discuss experimental determination of order of reaction. As we know that order can be calculated only through the experimental, is not a theoretical phenomena. Then how to identify that order? There is an experimental determination of order. There are so many methods are there to identify experimentally. In that we will discuss few of things. The first one, initial rate method. By using this initial rate method, we can identify initial rate method. How to identify by using this initial rate method? So here they will give the experimental analysis by changing the concentrations of the reactant and changing the rate. Then with respect to change of the rate, with respect to change in concentration of reactant in a given reaction, we can identify the order of the reaction. Already we have discussed about this part. Again we will take up one question here, how to identify the order. We have a reaction like this, A plus 3B gives rise to AB3, one chemical reaction. Then what is the order of this reaction? So this we can write generally the rate equation for this. Rate is equals to some rate constant A power x and B power y. So we don't know what is x and y, that we have to identify. And for that we have the experimental analysis. This is the analysis. Initial concentration is given, and initial concentration of B and A and corresponding rate. The concentrations in terms of molarities and rate anyhow moles per second, that is molarity per second. We have the value like this. In the first analysis, when you take 0.1 molar A and 0.1 molar B, then the rate is found at 0.002 molar per second. In the second analysis, when you change the concentration of A 0.1 to 0.2 and the concentration of B is 0.1, then the rate again observed that it is 0.002, the change in the rate of reaction. When we change the concentration of A to 0.3 and concentration of B 0.2, then rate change is 0.008, and this is 0.4 and this is 0.3, then you will get 0.018, and this is the information we have. Now we have to identify the rate. Okay, no. So already we did the questions. What is the formula? Rate change is equals to concentration change power order, whatever the reactant it is, it's a power. Let us take first two analysis. Here concentration of B is constant, but concentration of A is changed, it is increased to twice, then the rate will not change. And if you change the concentration also, rate is does not, means your rate is independent on the initial concentration, means what? The order of the reaction should be 0. So it is a 0 order reaction with respect to A. So with respect to A, order is 0, means what? X equal to 0. And the next one, now you take second and third data, where anyhow we know that with respect to A it is a 0 order, that part is over. Now when you increase the concentration of B 2 times, then the rate is changed 4 times. So 0.002 to 0.008 means 4 times. So here 4, rate changing in 4 times, and the concentration changed to 2 times and power y. So from this you will get y equal to 2, means what? Order with respect to B is 2. Now overall order is a second order reaction. So now we can write a rate of reaction K into A power 0 and B power 2. So this is the second order reaction. So like this we can identify experimentally by taking the initial rate method. Next, second type of the method to identify the order, half-life method. Half-life method. Already in the last class we have discussed that to identify the order of the reaction we will use one formula for nth order reaction, T of 1 by T of 2 is equals to A2 by A1 whole power n minus 1, and this is the formula where n is the order, T of 1, T of 2 they are the half-lives of the reactant at A1 and A2, and A1, A2 are the initial concentration, and T1 and T2 they are the half-lives. You will see one question here. Half-life find order of the reaction. Find order of reaction. Again, two initial half-lives are given, initial concentrations are given, and corresponding half-lives are there. Just you can apply in that formula. T of 1 by T of 2. So T of 1 let us assume 5 minutes and T of 2 is 50 minutes. Then that is 5 by 50 is equals to A2 by A1. Here A2 means 0.01 by 0.1 whole power n minus 1. Right. Again, just you simplify this one, we will get n is equals to 2. Again, it shows that it is a second order reaction. So by using the half-lives and initial concentration, we can identify experimentally. And the third type, graphical method. Graphical method. And here sometimes by looking into the graphs we can identify what type of the reactions with respect to a rate versus concentration or T of versus initial concentration, this type of the graphical method. Let me take one graph here. T of versus initial concentration, and the graph is observed like this. And when you take the same T of versus concentration, when you draw a graph T of versus concentration, and for example you observe like this, then now by looking into this graph you can say what type of order it is. In the first case, T of is independent on the concentration, so we can say that, and this graph represents first order reactions or first order kinetics. And here T of is directly proportional to concentration, means what? This is a zero order reaction, like this one. Or else you can take the graph like rate versus initial rate versus initial concentration square, and what is the order of reaction, and the graph is observed like this. When you take a rate versus initial concentration and concentration power 2 and rate, it is directly proportional, means it should be the second order reaction. So like this, by using the graphs also we can identify the order of reaction. The next, fourth one, integrated rate equation. Integrated rate equation. This is a kind of trial and error method. By using trial and error, we can identify what is the order of the reaction. This is a little bit laborious work. So in this particular reaction, in this particular case, they will give, let us take A plus B gives rise to AB product, and they will give some concentration values at a T equal to 0. What is the concentration of A? Is A0, and T equal to T1, concentration is A1, and T equal to T2 concentration is A2 and so on, and T equal to T3 concentration is A3, like this they will give. And from this now we have to identify what is the order of the reaction, that is integrated rate equation. So first we have to take the rate constant of all orders of reactions. Let us take first zero order reaction. The rate constant K is equals to x by T. So what you have to do, you have to apply at first two time interval change 0 to T1, and you apply in this equation and you identify the K value. Let us assume K1 you will get first case. Again you take the second one, T0 versus T2 or T1 versus T2, anyone. Again you will get K2 value. Again you identify K3, and if you found K1, K2, K3 and so on, all are same values. Whatever the time interval you take, if you get the rate constant is same, when you use this formula, then we can say that this comes under zero order reaction. And if this data is not fit in this particular equation, then you can go with another, say first order equation. Again you take first order equation, K 0.303 by T log A by A minus X. Again you substitute the given information in this particular equation and you identify various rate constants at various time intervals. Again if you found that the values all rate constants are same, then we can say it is the first order. And if we observe that it is different, then again the data is not fit in this rate integrated rate equation, means that is not a first order equation. Now we check with the second order, and again the data is not fit with that equation, then you go for the third order and so on. Like that we have to go for trial and error. So this is anyhow little laborious. The first three methods are very easily we can identify. So next one more important subtopic here, monitoring the chemical reaction, the process of the first order reactions, how the reaction is going on, and to identify what is the extent of reaction completed and how much product formed. That is comes under monitoring of the progress of the first order reactions. There are various types of reaction, decomposition reactions, gas phase reactions, optical rotations, hydrolysis reactions, various types of reactions are there. We can take the subheading monitoring. The process of first order reactions. Monitoring the process of first order reactions. In that we will take up first one, first order kinetics in bacterial growth. First order kinetics in bacterial growth. Generally bacterial growth reactions, if comes under first order reactions, then the rate equation for that, the integrated rate equation we can write. Let us take one equation. A gives rise to product here. Here A is the bacterial growth. Let us assume at T equal to 0 we have some concentration of bacteria is A. And here bacterial growth means generally so far we have discussed the reaction, the initial concentration of the reactant will decrease by time being. As the time increases, initial concentration decreases. But in case of especially bacterial growth, instead of decreasing the concentration of the reactant, the concentration of reactant will increase. Why? Because the growth will take place. Bacteria will develop for every minute or every hour. So at a time T equal to T, then the concentration of reactant will be increased. How much? Let us assume some X. Initial concentration is A, but at a time T some concentration is increased, some bacteria growth happened here. So for this we have to identify the integrated rate equation. We know that rate is equals to dx by dt is equals to, anyhow this is the first order kinetics you are assuming, and k into with respect to dx at a time t a plus x. As usual, just you apply the integration Now you separate the terms, x terms and t terms. Dx by a plus x is equals to k into dt. Now apply integration both side within the limits. Initial concentration a to a plus x, initial time 0 to t. This is like 1 by x dx. So you will get ln x, and within the limits of a to a plus x. So ln of a plus x minus ln of a is equals to kt. From this, k is equals to 1 by t into ln of a minus b. So a plus x by a, or this you can write like this. If you remove this logarithm base e to the base 10, you will get 2.303 t by log a plus x by a. A plus x means concentration at a time t, and a means initial concentration. But in case of regular first order reaction, we have the formula a by a minus x. That is a decreasing in concentration, but here increasing in concentration, you will get this kind of rate constant. And the second one, first order kinetics in gas phase reactions. First order kinetics in gas phase reaction mean when instead of giving the concentrations, they will give the partial pressures. When the partial pressures are given, then how to monitor the reaction. Let us take one basic reaction here. A gives rise to B plus C, two products, let us assume. And here we have the three cases. We can study these gas phase reactions in three ways according to the data is given. Sometime they will give the questions like this. Case 1, let me take three cases. They may give the initial pressure, that is a P naught, and after that the pressure of the reactant A at a time t, that is Pt. Initial pressure and pressure at a time t, this is with respect to only A. And this case 2, they may give the information like this, and they will give the initial pressure of reactant, then total pressure of the reaction. The previous case, both the information for with respect to reactant, here initial pressure with respect to A, but P total with respect to reaction. Then again how to identify the rate equation, integrated rate equation here. And the third case, and here they will give the data, initial pressure at a time t, that is Pt, and the total pressure at the completion of the reaction, that we can call at infinity time. If the all A is consumed, that is at infinity time, and what is the total pressure. This is a Pt and P infinity, that is the total pressure of the reaction. Then how to identify the integrated rate equation. Three different cases. First one with respect to exclusively A, second one with respect to A and with respect to reaction, and third one completely with respect to reactions. We will see one by one. First, case 1. Let us take that reaction. A gives rise to B plus C, and here initial pressure of the reaction is P naught, and pressure at a time t. Pressure of reactant at a time t, that is given as Pt. Then integrated rate equation. So this you can write simply, A gives rise to B plus C. So what we have the formula generally, that you can convert into the initial concentrations A minus X, or like this. Initial pressure we have the P naught at T equal to 0, at T equal to T directly they give PT, initial pressure and the pressure at a time T. So what is the rate equation? The integrated rate equation, K is equals to 2.303 by T log P0 by PT with respect to pressure. So means here initial pressure P naught at a time T PT directly. We can use this formula directly for monitoring the first order kinetics if the information is given like this. That is the case 1. Next, case 2. In case 2, they give like this: initial pressure is P naught and total pressure of the reaction at a time T is PT. Then we have to identify what is the integrated rate equation. Second case, let us take A gives rise to B plus C. Initial pressure is P naught, and this is anyhow nothing. After some time T, some X amount will decompose. Then you will get X amount of B and X amount of C. And this one, P total at a time T, this is T equal to T and this is T equal to 0. And we have the information that total pressure of the reaction at a time T is PT. Means what? At a time T, total pressure of reactant and products, the P naught minus X plus X and plus X, that can give PT. So you can write here P naught minus X and plus X plus X. So total reaction pressure, so pressure of A and pressure of B and pressure of C is PT. Now to identify the integrated rate equation, what required? K is equals to 2.303 by T ln initial concentration and concentration at a time T, means P naught, anyhow P naught is there directly. We required the value of P naught minus X. So what is the X value here that we have to identify? So what is the P naught minus X? From this, X is equals to, you will get PT minus P naught. This is the X value. Then you identify P naught minus X. That is PT minus P naught minus of, sorry, I think I wrote wrong this one. So P naught means P naught minus, what is the X value? X is P naught minus P0, PT minus P0, and that can give minus minus plus 2 P0 minus PT. This is the P0 minus X value. Now this value, P naught value and P naught minus X value, substitute in the regular integrated rate equation for first order. Then K is equals to 2.303 by T log, what is initial concentration? Means your pressure P naught and the pressure at a time T, that is 2 P0 minus PT. And this is the integrated rate equation when initial pressure and total pressure of the reaction at a time T is given. Now case 3. What is the case 3 here? If they give the total pressure of reaction at a time intervals T and infinity, or Pt and phi infinity respectively. Here we have the data. At a time t, what is the total pressure of the reaction, and at infinity time, what is the total pressure of the reaction. Now again you have to write the integrated rate equation here. Now again A gives rise to B plus C. Let us assume initial pressure, we do not know. Let us assume P naught is the initial pressure. This is nothing. At t equal to 0, at t equal to t, some amount of A will decompose some x amount, then it can give x amount of B and x amount of C. And for this we have the total pressure is there, Pt. Again at t equal to infinity, infinity means what? All A, the reactant A is completely consumed and no more reactant here, and then all the reactant is converted into the product, means whatever you will get P naught, the initial concentration, means you will get here P naught of B and P naught of C. This is the one. Again total pressure at infinity time we have P infinity. Again you have to identify the integrated rate equation. K is equals to 2.303 by T log initial pressure, means P naught, and at a time t, P naught minus x. So this we have to identify, means we have to identify what is the P naught and what is the P naught minus x value from this given data. From this, if you know the P naught and P naught minus x, that you can substitute, you will get the integrated rate equation. Now identify. First, at infinity, what is the total pressure? Total pressure at infinity time. What is that? P naught plus P naught. That means 2 P naught is equals to P infinity. This is given. From this P naught value, P naught is equals to P infinity by 2. So now we got one parameter, P naught is came. Now second one, P naught minus x, means we have to calculate x value. Then those two values we can substitute. Second one, total pressure at time t. Total pressure at t. What is the total pressure here from this reaction? P naught minus x, pressure of reactant A and pressure of product to B and pressure of product to C. That is equals to, is given Pt. Total pressure at a time t is Pt. Now from this, what is the x value? X is equals to Pt minus P0. So now we have the P0 value, we have the x value. This P0 x, if you substitute in the given rate equation, we can identify. Now first from this you identify P naught minus x. What is the value? P naught. P naught means P infinity by 2 and minus of x. X means here Pt minus 0. Again P naught means P infinity by 2 and that can give. And P naught by 2 minus minus plus P infinity by 2, P infinity by 2. You will get P infinity minus Pt. So P naught minus x equal to, this is P infinity minus Pt, and P naught is there. Now you can substitute these values in the integrated rate equation. K is equals to 2.303 T and log of P naught means P infinity by 2 all by P infinity minus Pt. This we can write, K is equals to 2. This is the total equation. This is a integrated rate equation for gas phase reaction when the pressure at a time t and infinity time is given. And the third type, monitoring of the chemical processes. Here first order kinetics in decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So how can we monitor this reaction? Let us see hydrogen peroxide. If it can undergo decomposition, it can give water and releases oxygen. Now this reaction we can monitor in two ways. Again, we have two cases here with respect to the amount of oxygen produced. See, whatever the amount of oxygen produced here, it is directly proportional to the initial amount of the H2O2. Volume of oxygen is directly proportional to concentration of H2O2. We can correlate it here according to stoichiometry. Whatever H2O2 you take, if you take more amount of H2O2, you will get more amount of oxygen. So by the production of volume of O2, we can monitor. That is one case. And the second one, by titration. The titration against the oxidizing agent KMnO4. You take the KMnO4 and now you titrate with H2O2. We know that KMnO4 and H2O2 titration reactions, so redox titration. And here amount of KMnO4 required is directly proportional to the amount of H2O2 left in the reaction. Initially we started with H2O2 with some concentration A. Whatever the concentration it is, that equal amount of KMnO4 we required, equivalents. Again after some time H2O2 concentration will decrease, then ultimately the amount of KMnO4 required also decrease. So this KMnO4 amount, how much it is consumed in a chemical reaction, that can give, that can monitor the concentration of H2O2 left at a particular time intervals. Okay, two cases with respect to amount of oxygen produced and with respect to the titration reactions. Let us see first case 1. So here case 1, based on the oxygen collected. Now see that reaction, hydrogen peroxide when undergo the decomposition, H2O plus O2. Let us assume initial concentration is A and here nothing, and after some time T, H2O2 can give some A minus X, it can form X and here X by 2. And at a time infinity, anyhow all H2O2 will consume and no more H2O2, and that can be converted into the water and oxygen. And this is a reaction information, but experimental data they will give like that. At initial time, what is the volume of oxygen produced? At a time T, volume of oxygen produced is Vt. Let us assume. At infinity time, volume of oxygen produced is V infinity. So this the data they will give how much oxygen is produced at particular time intervals, and from this we can write the equation. Volume of oxygen produced at a time T, that is Vt. So volume of oxygen produced at time T, Vt, is directly proportional to what? Amount of H2O2 consumed. Whatever the amount of H2O2 consumed, that much amount of oxygen can be produced. So that is directly proportional to X. So X is the amount of H2O2 consumed at that particular time. So that we can take. Similarly, volume of oxygen produced at infinity time, what it is? V infinity. That is directly proportional to what? At infinity time there is no more H2O2. Whatever the H2O2 consumed completely, that can give the oxygen. Means initial concentration of H2O2 should be equal here. Whatever the volume of oxygen produced, that should be equal to the initial concentration. So we can take volume at infinity is A. Again, to identify the integrated rate equation, what we required? Initial concentration A is required. So here A is equals to, we can take as V infinity. Why? Because they are direct relation. In place of A we can write V infinity, and we have to write A minus x. A minus x, you can write V infinity minus x means Vt. So from this data, and these values you can substitute in the integrated rate equation of first order. We will get K is equals to 2.303 by T log A means V infinity and A minus x means V infinity minus Vt. And if they give the oxygen gas produced information at a time, anyhow initial time there is no oxygen at V0. So at a time, some time t, and at every time only we have the amount of oxygen produced, and those values if substitute here, you can identify the rate constant or time. This is with respect to the amount of oxygen collected. Now case 2, same decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, but now we are monitoring the reaction with respect to the permanganate titration. We will take potassium permanganate and you titrate against the H2O2. Permanganate titration. Generally these are called redox titrations. Again you take the decomposition reaction. H2O2 after decomposition can give H2O and off O2. Here initial concentration, let us assume A, and at a time t A minus x. Again what is our aim? We have to identify what is the A and what is A minus x. So here in this reaction we will take externally KMnO4. We are adding KMnO4 externally. Means in terms of volume of KMnO4, this is the known value. We will add some known amount of KMnO4 in terms of volumes. Now at initial time, the volume of KMnO4 required initial, or at a time t equal to 0 directly, that we assume V0 is directly proportional to what? If there is direct proportional when you take a volume of KMnO4 required at initial time is directly proportional to the concentration of H2O2 only. Whatever the amount of H2O2 is there, that equal amount of KMnO4, law of equivalence, according to law of equivalence, N1V1 equal to N2V2. So here volumes, you can volume is directly proportional to the concentration. I am taking with respect to concentration here. So volume of KMnO4 required is directly proportional to the initial concentration. If you take more concentration of H2O2, we required more amount of initial KMnO4. Next, we are doing the reaction. The H2O2 is keep on undergoing decomposition after some time t. So anyhow the initial concentration decreases, some A minus x amount of H2O2 left. Then volume of KMnO4 required at that condition. Volume of KMnO4 required at a time t equal to t, that we assume volume of t, that is directly proportional to what? A minus x only. Whatever the amount of H2O2 left, that equal amount of KMnO4 is required. That is it. These two values we required, A value and A minus x. If you know about these two values, you can directly substitute in the equation. K equal to 2.303 by T log. What is the A? A is directly proportional to initial volume of KMnO4, and A minus x is directly proportional to volume of KMnO4 required at a time t. That is it. This is the integrated rate equation for the monitoring of hydrogen peroxide or redox titration reactions. Now we will see fourth type of reaction. First order kinetics in ester hydrolysis. ester hydrolysis or hydrolysis of ester. And this reaction we can monitor through the acid base titration, a simple titration reaction or acid base titration we can monitor. What is ester hydrolysis? Let me take ethyl acetate. In presence of, mostly we will do the ester hydrolysis in presence of acidic media, acid medium. Then we will get acetic acid. It will produce, apart from that, ethyl alcohol. Now we have to monitor this ester hydrolysis reaction with respect to the production of acetic acid. Here acetic acid is produced in this particular reaction. The amount of acetic acid produced can give the information. Just again you apply the stoichiometric calculations. Whatever the amount of acetic acid produced should be equivalent to the amount of ester we have taken initially, right, of law of equivalence. Now we have to monitor the production of acetic acid. How can we monitor? Acids can be monitored by titrating against the base. Just you add some base to this acetic acid and you can identify how much amount of acetic acid is produced. Acid base titration. Mostly we will use here sodium hydroxide is the base. Okay, now. So now the volume of NaOH we will add with the time being. Initially if we add NaOH, volume of NaOH, let us assume V0, that should be equivalent to what? At initial stage there is no more acetic acid produced, we have only ester and we have the water and we have the catalyst, acid catalyst. So initially we required some NaOH also. Why? Because we have the acid catalyst is there. So this NaOH will react with acid catalyst. So volume of NaOH we have taken initially should be equal to volume of the catalyst, whatever the catalyst is there. Then after some time, after 0 minute, slowly production of acetic acid can start. Then volume of sodium hydroxide is added after some time t. After some time t, what is there in the reaction now? We have the acetic acid. Anyhow, the catalyst amount will not change. What is the role of catalyst? Just it will alter the reaction, but the amount will not change. It is constant. The next time, whatever the amount of sodium hydroxide you added, that should be equal to the volume of acetic acid produced and also volume of catalyst present. So time t దగ్గర ఏమవుతుంది, that is equivalent to volume of catalyst plus volume of acetic acid produced. Again at infinity time, if you take for example, again at infinity time all ester will consume and will get completely acetic acid formation, and again at that condition we have the acetic acid and still the catalyst will be present. So that at volume of NaOH at infinity time should be equivalent to the volume of catalyst plus volume of acetic acid again at that infinity time. Now by using these values V0, Vt and V infinity, we can monitor the reaction. How it is we will see clearly. This is some basic idea. Let us take the reaction here again clearly. Again we have the ester, and when you treat with water in presence of H plus, acetic acid and ethyl alcohol. First initially we have concentration of acetic acid is A and here water will take excess, and after some time t, this is, let us assume A minus x, this is time t equal to 0 and at time t equal to t. Again then how much of acetic acid can be produced? X, and at a time t equal to infinity all acetic acid will be consumed and we will get acetic acid A. Now the amount of acetic acid produced, this X and A values we are titrating against the sodium hydroxide. Now we will take up volume of sodium hydroxide. At time t equal to 0, V0, that should be equivalent to what? Volume of catalyst. or amount of catalyst, simply you can say whatever it is, some X amount. Then volume of NaOH required at time t equal to t. After some time t, how much of NaOH is required to titrate this ester hydrolysis reaction. So, in that condition, after some time t, we have acetic acid is there. So, now volume T, that should be equal to volume of catalyst plus volume of acetic acid, that nothing but, let us take X. Okay, that is a X value. Next, volume of NaOH at time t equal to infinity. Again, how much we required? V infinity is equals to, again catalyst will be present as it is, plus acetic acid, now A amount, the concentration of A. Now, to identify the rate integration, what we required? A value and A minus X. From this we can write A is equals to V infinity minus V catalyst. What is the V catalyst? V0. In place of V catalyst, you can write V0 value. This is the A. Next, we required A minus X. Now, A minus X is equals to, just you subtract these two. What will get? A minus X. These two will cancel out. You will get V infinity minus Vt. Okay, by these two we will get A minus X, and from 1 and 3 we will get A value. Now, you have A and A minus X, and these values if you substitute in the regular rate integration, K into K equal to 2.303 by T log of A and A in the V infinity minus V0 by, what is A minus X? V infinity minus Vt, and this is a rate constant in ester hydrolysis reaction. So, by using this we can monitor the reaction by addition of volume of NaOH, how much we are adding at initial time, at a time T1, T2, T3 and so on. Then we will take up the last, fifth one, first order kinetics for optical rotation. There is a hydrolysis of sucrose, first order kinetics. Inversion of cane sugar. Or simply inversion of sucrose also we can say. This is actually by measuring their optical rotation values based on the optical rotations. Previous case just we calculated based on the titration data, and here inversion sugar means optical rotation will involve the concept of optical rotation. So, we will take the data of optical rotations. By measuring the optical rotation, we can monitor the inversion of cane sugar. Let us see this hydrolysis of cane sugar or inversion of cane sugar. Sucrose, I can undergo hydrolysis. It can give glucose and fructose. So, here we will take the optical rotation, and here we know that sucrose, it is a dextrorotatory, positive rotation, and glucose also dextrorotatory, and fructose is a levorotatory, negative rotation, and this is also positive, and this one is the positive. And based on the optical rotation, now we can monitor initially at a time t equal to 0, we have completely sucrose only, you will get dextrorotatory, positive rotation, but after some time slowly it can be formed glucose and fructose. Now, the optical rotation, we have to take the total rotation of the glucose, whatever the sucrose left and glucose formed and fructose formed. But here the optical rotation of fructose is more negative compared to the glucose and sucrose. So, overall optical rotation will get negative. Initial optical rotation is positive for the sucrose, but finally after formation of fructose the optical rotation will become negative. So, hence it is called inversion of sucrose. So, we are converting positive rotation to the negative rotation. So, it is a inversion. So, inversion of cane sugar. Let us assume the specific rotation of dextrose is R naught, sorry, sucrose, and this is a glucose R naught G, and this is a fructose and R naught F. Let us assume like this. Okay, and their optical rotation values they will give. And again we will go with initial concentration. This is A, and after some time this is A minus X, and it can be formed X amount of glucose and X amount of fructose. At infinity it is nothing, and this is A and this is E. And apart from that they will use the data like this. At initially the optical rotation is R0, at a time t the optical rotation is RT, at final at infinity time the optical rotation is R infinity. And we have the formulas. Optical rotation, generally this optical rotation is directly proportional to the concentration and specific rotation. We can take directly equal specific rotation into concentration of the substance, and length also you can ignore here, the length is constant. Now first we will take up one by one. The optical rotation at time t equal to 0, R0. Optical rotation of that mixture or the reaction. Instead of mixture, let me take reaction, because initially we have taken only one reactant. Optical rotation of reaction at time t equal to 0. What is that? R0. R0 equals to what? So initially we have specific rotation into concentration. What is there initially? We have only sucrose, means only sugar is there. So specific rotation of sugar, that is sugar specific rotation into its concentration is A. This is R0. Next, optical rotation of reaction. At a time t equal to t, you will get a specific optical rotation RT is equals to, again specific rotation into concentration. After some time t, what is there? After some time t, we have the this is sucrose is there, glucose is there, and fructose. So this is optical rotation, means total optical rotation. So we have to add the optical rotation of this sucrose and glucose and fructose. So you will get it here. Means again the specific rotation of sucrose and whose concentration left A minus X, plus a specific rotation of glucose and whose concentration is X, and specific rotation of fructose and whose concentration is X. Next, optical rotation of reaction at infinity time. Reaction at t is equals to infinity. We have R infinity. What left then? At infinity time, anyhow completely sucrose decomposed, there is no more sucrose. We have only glucose and fructose. Means glucose. How much amount of glucose now? Concentration is A, and fructose. How much concentration? E. and these are the values. So at optical rotation R0, RT, R infinity, this we can observe externally. Now we have to again to write that rate equation, we required A and A minus x. What we will do, I will take like this. Calculate R infinity minus R0 first. This is R infinity, R0. What we will get? Here I wrote one. This is fructose optical rotation, you will get negative rotation, specific rotation negative. I wrote positive there, that should be the negative. Levorotatory, so negative. So R infinity minus R naught, the first one and last one. R infinity means glucose, the concentration of A into that one, minus A into RF naught plus or minus you have taken here. So you take the minus. Minus A into R naught of sucrose. So from this you can take A common out, glucose minus fructose minus sucrose, this is one. Now similarly R infinity minus RT. Again, what is R infinity? A into RZ naught minus A into RF naught and RT. This is the RT. So minus of R sucrose A minus X, or A minus X of R sucrose. This we will write like this. And minus glucose and plus fructose. And this is RG naught and this RG naught, A minus X, again RF naught and RF naught. You can take from this A minus X, RZ naught and minus of A minus X fluorine, RF naught and RF naught here. You can take minus of A minus X common out, and this is as usual A minus X specific rotation of sucrose. You can take A minus X common here overall. What we left? RZ naught minus RF naught minus RS sucrose, specific rotations. This is R infinity minus RT. Now you take the ratio, that is R infinity minus R0 by R infinity minus RT is equals to. So here we have RZ naught and this one, and there also we have both the case. I can cancel out these two, and what left? A by A minus X. Now this A by A minus X value you substitute in the integrated rate equation, that is K is equals to 2.303 by T into log of R infinity optical rotation at infinity time minus 0 and optical rotation at infinity minus at time T. This is an integrated rate equation for inversion of sucrose. So by using these values, again we can monitor the reaction.